Hello and welcome back to Hoi 4 Equestria War, the realm of Kiria, under Rainshine. And in today's video, we are going to continue on our path towards completing the 3.5-year plan, and also fixing this issue that's going on in our nation. So yeah, we're going and we're doing well. Raking the Cinders. Cinderglow stepped into Autumn Blaze's office at the Premier's summons, and she immediately found the seat in front of Autumn's desk and sat in it. "I've put together everything I could find on the incendiaries for you," she said, placing a binder down on Autumn's desk. "I want me to give you the quick briefing, or would you rather read for yourself?" "I'll trust you'll get your point across," Autumn said, pulling the binder over towards herself. That's why I hired you in the first place, right?" "Right," Cinderglow agreed, and she took a breath before starting. "The incendiaries are, surprisingly enough, being motivated and organized by unorthodox Way of Fire priests and mystics. They see the entire modernization deal as an affront to Concord's divine will, interpreted as the silence decrees of Matriarch Nocturne Charm, and they think that Rainshine was pressured or tricked by the Equestrians in repealing those decrees and letting modernization back into Kiria so they could subvert our religion. They want to cancel the ground gallop onward immediately and roll back all our modernization efforts so far, reestablishing harmony and peace with nature and Concord's teachings, no matter how bad the science was for the realm over the past century. But perhaps the most disturbing thing is that they're starting to get the peasants to believe it too. The grand gallop onward can't continue if common Kirans start to believe that the science was better than this period of modernization we're going through. This is why I never made it very far becoming a priestess," Autumn mused, shaking her head. "The mystics like to encourage Kiran to let Concord do all the thinking for them and not think for themselves. And Concord's voice sometimes just happens to align with what the spiritual caste wants." And grabbed a piece of paper to write some notes on. "We can use the Reform Bureau to delegitimize these mystics who are supporting the incendiaries and oust them from the Way of Fire, which should hopefully help fix things if they can't claim they're speaking with Concord's will. And it won't even bother Winterfrost and her faction, which is good. Winter might be a traditionalist, but she's not that traditionalist. I'm sure she'll be happy to help get the ultra-orthodox mystics out of her main, too. Removing the unorthodox voices from the Way of Fire will solve this problem." Yes. An incendiary decision. Autumn Blaze bowed as a formality when Rainshine's attendant led her into the matriarch's reading room. Normally such a greeting wasn't necessary between the two friends, that when other Kirin were around, it wouldn't do to act disrespectful to the country's divine matriarch superior. Autumn had at least learned enough about politics to realize a slip-up as small as that would give her rivals an opening to try and take her down in the next gathering of the plenum. But when Rainshine dismissed the attendant and the two Kirin were all alone, Autumn smiled and joined Rainshine by her side on the floor. "I've spent some time looking further into the incendiaries matter," she said, and she placed a folder full of papers before the matriarch. "And I mean, phew, these Kirins are sure going crazy. They're not really a huge problem right now, but if we let it grow out of control, this incendiary issue is going to grow into an inferno. So the way I see it, you can either strongly condemn the incendiaries and their movement, or express sympathy and ask them to cooperate so that we can actually get to the root of their problems and help them out." "I see," Rainshine noted, but then she frowned. "And why would I not simply choose the sympathetic route? They still are my subjects despite their lashing out, because, well, frankly, matriarch, there's a chance they won't listen to you," Autumn said, anxiously rubbing her hooves together. You're my divine matriarch superior by all the rights and blessing concords, which means your word is her will as well, and Kieran should listen to you immediately. But the incendiaries might be too mad at the state and the government to listen to you. And if Kieran and the countryside are ignoring your divine voice, then that undermines your authority to a considerable degree. And shook her head. As much as I hate to admit it, I think that the condemnation is a safer option. You can call upon all faithful Kieran in the land to report on incendiary activity and aid the authorities in cracking down on the movement. That way, you're appealing to Kieran who already respect you, rather than those who don't. They'll listen to what you have to say, so you don't have to worry about losing face with them. But you're going to make the incendiaries a lot angrier if you condemn the movement. Then she bitterly chuckled, and added, "Oh, forgive me if I say it, Rainshine, but I am so glad I'm not Matriarch Superior right now. I'm not the one who has to make the decree. We must sympathize with the plight of the incendiaries and ask them to cooperate. We must condemn the incinerators and their movement. We will condemn them. It is the right decision. In the time we are in." Let's see if Skyfall wants to trade with us. If not, oh well, but let's see. That's not Skyfall. Mining Concord's home. The three priests standing before the Sibylled plenum made for an odd sight. Autumn Blaze could tell at a glance that the two stallions and a mare were part of the Way of Fire's more unorthodox followers. Their clothes and coats were smeared with black ash from countless sacred fires, and one had even tied gunpowder-coated string into their mane, though he hadn't lit the sparkling fuses before making his appeal to Rainshine. "Where is our matriarch?" the mayor amongst them asked. "We seek an audience with her divinity, not with mortal Kieran who claimed to be acting in her name." "The plenum is blessed with Matriarch Rainshine's divine authority," Autumn quickly countered. "Rest assured, however, that all proceedings that happen in the plenum are brought before the matriarch. Now petition your case, honored guests." Though that answer hardly seemed pleasing to the priest, one stepped forward regardless. "The modernization project is going too far," he exclaimed angrily, stomping his hoof. "The mountains surrounding Vermilion are Concord's sacred domain. Every single peak and every last valley were blessed by her hooves. It was those mountains which he first created to shield Vermilion's fertile valley from the primordial fire that gave birth to the world. And it is these mountains that miners and prospectors defile every day, digging through the earth for material wealth and trampling over the foundations of our theocracy and our society. They must be stopped." At this, Fickle Current stood up and scowled at the three. "The mining companies are doing important work that is critical to the grand gallop onward. Not only that, but they are doing so in a respectful manner. No prospecting occurs within 50 kilometers of a temple or shrine, and all named mountains in the range are free for mining activity. But I feel I must reiterate, Premier, that the resources they extract are important for our modernization effort. It cannot progress smoothly were they to be interfered with." "All the mountains must be declared sacred property," the other stallion priest exclaimed. "They are Concords by right. Is nothing sacred?" "No, many things are sacred, like the temple and the mountains that are named, the things we literally just stated the things that were sacred, like 20 seconds ago. If you're going to debate, at least debate logically instead of with this emotional outburst you're throwing out. It's we literally just said what was sacred. So get wrecked, I guess. I don't know. This modernizing drive is self-destructive. Cities are consuming the countryside in a cannibalistic fervor that destroys nature. They must be stopped before it is too late. The priests are right. We cannot defile Concord's creation in pursuit of material wealth. Fickle Current is right. The modernization of Kiria is too important to ignore. Yes. We must modernize. Hey, thanks, Skyfall. Glad to hear it. The new standard army. It is difficult to create a modern army from scratch, but we have to try regardless. Standardizing army doctrine and training regiments, laying out the benefits in terms of service, and acquiring foreign weapons and service equipment will go a long way in providing the basis to build the new standard army upon. Yes, of course. Alright. Oh, actually, now we can go over and continue this, which is what I would like to do. Oh, well, there it is. Well, great, thanks. And I don't have political power now, so that's fun. We've seen this event. You know, the thing about... But good, we have plenty of political power for this, right? Right, guys? Absolutely plenty of political power. Absolutely. Right, everybody? Right? Right, guys? This, yeah, we have nothing that gives us extra political power at this point, which is good. Repeal the conscience. The conscience was a series of decrees that went along with the science that suppressed the study of science, religion, philosophy, and many other forms of education in the realm. As a result, our society has stagnated, and much of the populace is illiterate. If we wish to educate a new generation of Kiria, the science must be repealed in its entirety. Yeah, we, ugh. See, I don't want to miss events. It's like, ugh. I might just do a little bit of cheating so we can see the events, you know. Come on. Because there's no way I get enough political power, even if I do nothing. Well, actually, if I do nothing, maybe I could get enough. Actually, yes! No, I'm going for full modernization stuff, but I'm gonna need to do, I don't even care. I'm gonna read this event, but no matter what, I'm choosing this one. I need the political power right now. So yeah, so there you go. A tale of two scripts. Coin counter paced back and forth outside of Matriarch Superior Rainshine's study, trying her best not to show her anxiety or break out in nervous sweat at her impending meeting with Kira's absolute theocratic leader. She had never met the matriarch before, nor so much as seen her in person outside of anything resembling an official function of the state. And here she was about to spend 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes in conversation with her, one-on-one, about a matter of absolute economic priority. She was terrified that she'd completely forget what she needed to say and then stare at the matriarch, dumbfounded, like a deer after the invention of artificial lights. Okay. Taking a deep breath, she set her folder down on a nearby table and began to leaf through its pages to remind herself on what she needed to say. In Fragrance and Raspody, the returnee of population had become so entrenched in their ways that they had established a de facto parallel authority to the Imperial administration that consisted entirely of their most respected and wealthy business Kiran intellectuals, artists, and other high-profile figures. That was a political problem all on its own, but the economic problem at the root of it came from these figures' desire to use their own paper money over the Kiran tael, the gold coin that had been around since the creation of the realm. The Diaspora's paper money was based on the trading house's banknotes, which they called scrips, and were backed up by the massive stocks of silver and gold she possessed in Graphonia, which were slowly but surely moving back to Kiria. The scripts were far more popular and stronger than the Kirian tael in the northern cities, and were undoubtedly responsible for strong economic growth and investment among the returned diaspora. But it undermined and devalued the tael the more it circulated, and now Coin Counter had to explain the situation to Matriarch and ask for her opinion on what should be the official currency of Kiria. The money was, after all, minted and circulated under her divine authority. That left Coin Counter with a tough pitch to sell. Should she try to convince Rainshine to disallow the use of Diaspora script, strengthening the Kiran tael and reasserting Vermilion dominance over the north, but slowing its economic growth, or should she convince the matriarch to accept the script as acceptable currency alongside the tael, even at the risk of devaluing the official currency further, to encourage the growth of the north even more? We are going to be one nation, one currency. The teal will be the only coin accepted in Kiria. Mostly because that gives me enough political power to deal with this. Stronger, better, healthier together. The paper lanterns lit up the nights in radiance, their colorful light shining on the rows of new and modernized buildings lining the streets, where the town had almost been completely destroyed by the great typhoon slamming into Kira's east coast. All of the nation come together to help rebuild the coastline. Where there was once a destruction and desolation, peace and prosperity had taken its place. And now, with the reconstruction efforts complete, the townsfolk of Radiance had taken upon themselves to thank those who had saved them with a feast for the scores of volunteers who rebuilt their town. It was the same throughout much of the East Coast. Rainshine noted that she strode into town as the surprise guest of honor. Kirin were happy to see her, and the glee and relief in her face led her to softly smile back at them. Recovering from the typhoon had been a group effort, with Kirin from all trots of life working together. Soldiers, bureaucrats, returnees, mystics, peasants, and even NAKP cadres, whatever that word is, and local rising fire leaders had all contributed to rebuilding the coastline. It was what Rainshine had wanted to see from her subjects as Kiria embarked on the great gallop onward, and what she saw here today instilled confidence that her efforts were not for naught. If the cooperation and prosperity and radiance was a barometer for the realm as a whole, then obviously the Kirin people were doing something right. That pleased Rainshine more than any amount of respect or devotion her subjects gave her. Uniting together, we will create a better world for our foes than the one we inherited. Yay! We have enough stability for now. We can actually ignore gaining stability at the moment, because we just have gotten up to a good amount at this point, so that's really nice. Let 100 flowers blooms. It was a nice change of pace, Autumn Blaze calmly noted. It was to be able to gather the leaders of the other factions and enjoy dinner and drinks together, after a hard day of hammering out policy and reform at the plenum. It wasn't every day that the clique leaders could put aside their differences and enjoy a meal together. Winterfrost and Ficklecurrent currently weren't inviting each other over for tea after a long day of arguing, but of the rare days when the plenum could pass its agenda nearly unanimously, or at least without heated arguments, Autumn liked to take the two out for dinner afterwards and relax. It helped to remind every Kirin that they were all Kirin and partners in this endeavor, not enemies to be defeated. I think we can all agree that the ending of the quiescence was for the betterment of our realm, Ficklecurrent said as they waited for their meals to be brought out to them. One by one, we've rolled back Matriarch Nefarious Charm's decrees that stifled our education system and banned the study of science, religion, and philosophy outside of what we already know in 903. That's the mark of progress right there. The new freedom of information is helping us unravel more of Concord's mystery, Winterfrost agreed. Concord lives in science and philosophy as much as she does in our religion. The Way of Fire is not merely a matter of theology, it is the foundation of our society and everything we do. Exploring how Concord's divinity influences the natural world around us is just as important as understanding how we can better strive to follow her teaching. I recently read a report that came across my desk saying that the number of schools in the realm has multiplied 100-fold in such a short time, Autumn added. More Kirin are gaining the gift of education than ever before, and at a higher quality than even we thought imaginable when we first started. That's cause for celebration, I think. Agreed, Current said, and he lifted up his drink in his magic, prompting Autumn and Winter to do the same. A toast, then, to Kirin's progress. We are making a dream that once seemed impossible into tomorrow's reality. To a brighter tomorrow and a brighter Kiria. Woo! Let's go! Beautiful. I'm gonna try doing that. I don't know if there's gonna be a civil war that obliterates that, but I'm gonna try it, I suppose. And yeah, we can get up to partial mobilization now. That should help our stuff some. Oh yeah, that's nice. And we're actually building. Man, remember how at the beginning where we were getting negative building speed, and now we're overall in the high amount of positive. We're getting good consumer goods. Like, things are nice. Things are going well. Like, really genuinely well right now. I think this country is really coming together. We're doing it, guys. An imperial constitution. It is time to draft a constitution that will lay out the powers and privileges of each branch of our new government. The authority of the matriarch superior will be defined, and the responsibility of morning secretariat laid out. However, the realm lacks a modern judicial system, and it is up to the premier to come up with a proposal for one that will best serve the interest of the realm. Nice! Let's do it. Man, I'm really happy with how this nation is coming together. Like, we're really doing it. We really, really are. Checked balances. Autumn Blaze crumpled up yet another piece of paper in her magic and turned it into ash with a little frustration channeled through her horn. She'd been stuck in her office all day because she couldn't find the right way to word the draft of the bill in front of her. She was about to set it aside and try again later when the door in her study opened and a brown Kieran stepped in with a fresh stack of papers for the premier to look at. When the newcomer saw Autumn's exasperation, however, she paused in the doorway and frowned. "Autumn, is this a bad time?" Autumn sighed and waved the Kieran in. "No, Cinderglow, it's not. It's just been beating my face against the table for Concord how long? How many hours now? And I've gotten basically nowhere with our new constitution." Cinderglow bit her lip and stepped closer. "What's the problem then?" she asked her premier and party leader. "Read it out to me. Maybe they will help you figure some things out." "Well, it's worth a shot at least." Autumn took a deep breath, sat upright, and pulled out her stack of notes. "I've been trying to work every Kieran's concerns into the Constitution, and that's going fine, I guess. The executive power of our monarch, matriarch, her court, and the Reform Bureau is pretty cut and dry. The Morning Secretariat's legislative abilities are fine too, but it's the whole thing with the courts. Back in the day, legal disputes were settled by priests who determined which party Concord favored, but you can imagine just how big of a problem that could easily become. Current and his allies want to just import Griffonia and introduce the law wholesale, but Vigronian society is entirely different from Kieran society. How can we just import that without considering our own heritage? And of course, Winterfrost wants things to stay exactly how they are. You might just have to favor one or the other as the starting points for the bill." Cinderglow offered. "Either use the Way of Fire as the basis or the Griffonian law and work backwards from there to reach a good enough compromise for Kieran's society. It'll definitely favor one side more than the other, but find a compromise that makes every Kieran happy ends up making no Kieran happy, right? Griffonia is a modern judicial system. We should start there and work backwards. The Way of Fire is inseparable from Kieran society. It should be the basis. Let's go with Griffonia. Mostly because if you haven't noticed, I've pretty much just been doing every one that gives me political power. Because this country does not have enough political power at all. Like, in any way, enough political power. Like, oh my goodness, does it not have enough. Reassemble the banners. Kiria once possessed an impressive military supported by the banner system, where each city contributed soldiers to a local banner that could be rallied and commanded at the matriarch's discretion. These soldiers would then be given land following their service. Ooh, actually, wait. Creating an entire class of proud soldier citizens. It is time to rally these soldiers once more to face the threats of the modern era, which I will do after we do this, because I just noticed that that I'm able to do this right now. Wait, what? Oh my! I lost a fact. How did? Rude, just rude. No, bad. That's rude. Bad game. Why do you take away a factory? That makes no sense. Bad game. That's a naughty, bad game. I can't believe the game would do that. What a naughty game. No, I'm not losing like 10 days of progress. I don't even know if I have time for it. I genuinely don't know how like close shave it is like to complete the focus tree. Like I don't really know, so I don't really want to risk not having those 10 days. Just in case those 10 days mean, well, you finished 10 days late. Guess that means your country explodes. I still don't know how the Civil War starts. I don't even know if you can avoid it, or if you can avoid it, how. If it's guaranteed to happen, if it's just a chance to. I know absolutely nothing about this Civil War or anything that happens along with it, so I'm kind of just figuring it out. There we go. Just waiting for this to get back to that point. Back to that, and then I want to do this just like I did last time. And now I would like to do that, but I think this is a good time to go ahead and end this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.